Hello there my fellow Holotable heroes and welcome to another fluid video. You've probably seen it already, but the new Rogue One shape changes things a lot. Basically what it does is, just by adding one ship, Profundity is kind of back on top of the fleet meta, totally decimating Executor. I mean, it's not even funny what happens there. And even though Leviathan got a buff that like you would think would stop rebels, actually Profundity can still beat it as reliably, I think, as before, because Rogue One kind of offsets some of those buffs that Leviathan got. Now, before we go into battles and see how it performs, let's first just get a quick overview on the abilities and what it does. Firstly, I don't know, this is a first, so I don't know, is it a mistake or is it by design, but actually you can max out all the abilities regardless, looks like, of your pilot levels and the ship rarity, right? Because normally the crew abilities such as this and this, in order to max them out, I think the character would need to be like gear 10, but as you can see in this account, boat is like what, gear 5, whatever, right, level 50, and I was able to max out this ability right here. And that's obviously important because it does add that clause that it calls Outrider to assist. My pause relic, so that's fine. And then also it's a 3-star ship, and normally to get that level 3 here on the reinforcement slot, you would actually have to have a 5-star ship. So I guess there really is no incentive for spending your crystals or money on this ship to get it to 7 stars, because all what it needs to do is be on the reinforcement slot regardless of the level or anything, and it'll just do its thing, right? So an interesting choice by CG. Let's see if the same thing will translate to the, was it B-Wing that's coming out in 2 weeks time? So who knows, if Profundity is already beating these guys now, how that will look like, even I have no idea. Now I'm not gonna go through and read all the kits because there are many so ifs and buts in this kit, so instead what I'll show you is the kind of cheat sheet here I put together that kind of roughly highlights all the key abilities of this ship and when it's active and when it's not. So the body's ability, it's an AoE. Pause ability is very good as well. It gives tenacity up to your allies, and this is good, right? Because this will help with Leviathan. With tenacity up, you know, they can't get that many debuffs on us, and because Leviathan there, right, you can't assist anymore with Rebels and Galactic Republic. You would think that would stop you, right? But if you don't assist, it means less debuffs on your ships. You have tenacity up extra here. With Rogue One, again, they can't get debuffs on you, and if Scythe can't land, what is it, 20 debuffs on you, then they can't disable your reinforcement just yet. And if they don't disable reinforcement, they can't get to their ultimate. So it kind of offsets a little bit the fact that we cannot assist. Then the basic just does a target lock, and then the unique basically makes Rogue One non-targetable. You know, like unless there are no allied ships on the field. So it's kind of the last ship it has to go down. And then the reinforcement ability inflicts healing immunity on all enemies. So this is regardless whether who is your enemy capital ship and who is your allied capital ship. This column right here shows you that. Now, if Profundity is allied capital ship, we get additional bonuses. So body's ability here will call Outrider to assist. Pause ability, very important, reduce cooldown on rebel allies. Which means you can use your special 1 turn earlier, again really helping you out versus Leviathan to make sure that tenacity up and as well download progress, right, keeps coming up even though we cannot attack out of turn, can't assist. The basic ability, you don't get any extra bonuses under Profundity, and then Rogue One will gain 25% max health if Profundity is allied ship, and as well reinforcement bonus in addition to healing immunity will also reset reinforcements cooldown, which means you can bring back-to-back reinforcement, same thing as the Phantom would do for you. So very powerful under Profundity. Now, on top of it all, if the enemy capital ship is any of the Empire ships, then the target lock on its basic can be resisted. Then as well, the unique gives you breach immunity and protection up. So breach immunity basically prevents them from hitting the contract, you know, getting all the bonuses that the bounty hunters get with breach, and also getting 100% protection up. You can actually survive that onslaught, right? Or even versus triple attackers at the start of the battle. And then on top of it all, if you're going versus Empire, when you do reinforce Rogue One, you will also be increasing cooldowns on the non-capital ships. So kind of slow them down with the use of their special abilities. And also, if we are going versus Scythe, which in this case the only one is Leviathan, we get a couple of additions as well. So with the unique ability, non-capital ships are immune to cooldown increase, so they can't increase our cooldowns. And most importantly, if the allied ship is Profundity and enemy ship is Scythe, then the reinforcement ability will also increase the download progress by 20%. So that's why actually Profundity, you still can win versus Leviathan same as before, because of this extra 20% download progress when you do reinforce Rogue One, and extra source of tenacity up, slowing down the Leviathan. So they kind of really offset when they kind of buffed Leviathan. So I think Rogue One will not get nerfed, because if they were worried about Profundity beating Leviathan, they wouldn't add this final clause on the reinforcement ability that increases download progress by 20% versus Scythe ships. I think why they buffed Leviathan is so that Leviathan can still win on offense versus Profundity. So they kind of made them like even, right? Leviathan can beat Profundity, Profundity can beat Leviathan, because at least that's how I see it. Otherwise, why would they add extra download increase by 20% if their intention was that Profundity can't beat Leviathan? So I think no buffs, no nerfs incoming. At least that's that's my interpretation of things. So this is kind of a cheat sheet for the abilities, because it's very difficult, like learning for kids, and remember what is active when. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, I think we can hop in the battles and see what we can get done with Rogue One. Okay, I'll just start off with the footage from my smaller account, just to see what we can get done with a 6-star Profundity. So here I don't have 7-star yet, just to see does it still work at 6 stars. Unfortunately can't verify at 4 and 5, right, because it's at 6, but at least to see what we can get done. And as shown before, my body here is not really leveled up. Okay, let's give it a shot versus this kind of Executor lineup with Houndstooth starting, and see how this will go. Do we hit auto? Do I play manual? I don't know. Should we try auto and see how that all works? Let's go ahead, I guess, target Punishing One and just hit autoplay and see if 6-star Profundity can get this done on auto or not. Because they can't land breach on us, right? We don't really worry about the taunt that Houndstooth may put up, because we can just quickly dispel it with a basic from Falcon. Okay, so you can see no breach whatsoever. Okay, and there we go. Actually, AI is programmed to reinforce Rogue One first, which is nice. Let's just go ahead and target Punishing One now that we dispelled the taunt from Houndstooth. Again, still no breach. Punishing One down already. Like I said, this is not even funny, guys. What Rogue One does to Empire enemies is not even funny. Okay, you know, it'll take a minute that we burn through these guys, but as soon as we hit ult, we should be good to go. Again, reminder, this is 6-star Profundity, so not maxed out, and we are still basically doing a lot of damage here. Okay, there we go. Download progress complete. So now we should be able to clean this up very quickly, because they can't recover, I believe, health or something. So you can see eventually they did get the contract, because to get a contract is either land target lock 20 times or breach 20 times. So even though we slow down their breach train, they were still able to get target locks going. But without breach, they also dish out less target locks, right? Because with Xanadu Blood, they deal like bonus damage to breached enemies, right? And then that instance of bonus damage also lands target lock. So no issues whatsoever. Full auto. Alright, still footage from my smaller account. Again, we'll be going versus triple attacker lineup here. Again, 6-star profundity. So let's see how this will look like. If we can just autoplay this as well. No Houndstooth in a way. So this should hopefully be even easier. Let's go ahead and target punishing one and see how this will look like. There we go. They're out of bonus protection already. Again, no breach on the field. However, they are getting target locks, so they could still get the contract, but without breach and that bonus damage, should be significantly slower for them to get it. There we go. Again, Rogue One looks like he's really hard-coded to come out as the first reinforcement, which kind of makes sense, right? Because then you can bring back-to-back a reinforcement. Okay, so they did bring out the Houndstooth, however, we quickly dispel the taunt. Let's move target over back to the punishing one. Get it out, and yeah, I don't know guys, but it's not even funny. Yeah. It really makes you think what will actually the upcoming another rebel ship do for us. Oh, we lost the ship. Okay, it's fine. I guess if you would play manually, you would play this better, but just to showcase full auto, no issues whatsoever, it just makes you think what that ship, right, will bring. If we already, just with Rogue One, we are kind of getting the job done. The question is, will it should be a tank, so we get rid of our Y-Wing as a starting tank, because, you know, it doesn't really do a whole lot anymore, I think, but we'll have to wait and see. No, guys, target Xanadu Blood. Okay, alright, fine. We'll get it done. Okay, another reinforcement, sure, why not? Houndstooth finally down. We just need to finish off Xanadu Blood there. Again, we did lose a ship, but probably if I would play this manually right, then we should be able to keep everybody alive. Now this is still footage from my smaller account, where I again have only 6-star profundity. Normally you need 7 stars versus Leviathan, because obviously the basic can't be maxed out at 6 stars. You don't get a bonus turn, and as well download progress increase. But let's see if the addition of Rogue One here actually can help us out. We can't attack out of turn, but I guess, again, this is a good thing because they can't land debuffs on us. So that's actually not too bad. So what we'll start off here, because basic will not give bonus turn at below 7 stars. Instead, I'll just use this ability. It won't call anybody to seize, which is fine, but we still get a 10% increase in download. So let's go ahead and do that. Then let's use Tenacity Up. Yeah, this gives us another 20%, I believe. Okay, we're just going to basic, get rid of that crit damage immunity. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and dispel that again. So as long as we get enough crits, hopefully we can get the download progress complete. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. I'm just gonna go. Dodge is never a good thing, is it? Okay. Always a bit of an RNG, right? Like who they stun. Let's go ahead and bring Rogue One. And we get more download progress now. Let's go ahead, Tenacity Up, reduce our cooldowns, more Tenacity Up, more download progress. Yeah, let's clear off the Foresight, I guess. Although they get it right back. Not ideal. Okay, let's clear off the Foresight over there. We'll just keep pinking away. Let's do basic, right? Because this deals damage 3 times, and these guys have Foresight anyway, so they'll evade. Unfortunately, no crits. Let's go ahead and bring in Ghost. All right, Ghost can dispel now that we had back-to-back reinforcements, and we can also actually do the AoE. So hopefully we get some crits there. Okay. Shake off the Foresight. There we go. Let's see how we're looking with the download progress. We lost Y-Wing, not ideal. Let's go ahead and increase download progress again. Clear off that. We just keep pinging away. That was close, guys. I've got 80% download progress. Profundity is about to take a turn before Leviathan. This gives you 20% download progress. Like, if you're not at 80, you're gonna lose, because you won't be able to hit your ult, and then they will hit ult. So even at 6 stars, you can squeak by, but that was close, guys. I don't know, would I trust this? But if you're in a pickle, you can give it a shot. As long as you get enough crits, right? There's always some RNG element in that regard. But nah, yeah, we should be good here. We should probably hit autoplay here that we don't time out. Okay. Alright. No assists, unfortunately, right? There we go. We took down one ship. Falcon taking beating. Okay, heal up. Okay. And we got another reinforcement here. Perfect. And it got destroyed. It was a win, but man, I wouldn't trust this. Let's do this one more time just to see, did I just get lucky there? Alright, so again, 6-star Profundity versus 7-star Leviathan, and then I'll switch over to my main account and see how 7-star Profundity does versus Leviathan. I'll just see, did I get lucky with a 6-star? Again, let's go ahead and do that, increase our download progress. Again, more download progress gets an SD up. Let's clear off the crit damage immunity. Let's again clear off crit damage immunity. They're gonna do their shenanigans now. Okay. Do you know what? Should we try actually clear off crit damage immunity here? Because now I can do the AoE and then I potentially cleanse 2 crits instead of just basicing 1 target. There we go, we got 2 crits there. Okay, so maybe that's a slightly better approach. In the opening sequence, this time Falcon got stunned. Again, you know, Profundity vs Leviathan, even before all of these changes, has always been a bit, you know, tricky. It worked for the most times, but sometimes, you know, when RNG was bad. Let's get tenacity up, more tenacity up. Alright, they're going all out on Falcon, it seems. They switched gears over now to Outrider. Okay, we're just gonna keep going. Again, let's do basic, deal damage 3 times, hopefully land some crits. Gonna bring in Ghost, and then we're gonna smack an AoE. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Okay, we got a couple of crits there. Clear off the foresight. Do some of that. They disabled our reinforcements. How we looking, guys? Let's go ahead and clear off that. Yeah, let's increase. Clear off the foresight. We'll just keep pinging away here. And this time we were at 88%. I guess needs more testing, hard to say. But 6-star Profundity can work, looks like. But again, not sure how reliable. I would have to do more testing. So maybe now that in this account I do have now Rogue One, maybe every day I'll keep trying to climb with my 6-star Profundity versus Leviathan just to get a better idea of success rate. But the first one was close. We were at 80%, just how much we needed. Here we were actually at 88%, so okay, I guess. Alright, let's wrap this up and then I'll hop over to my main account and we'll do 7-star Profundity test versus Leviathan as well. Okay, so this is now footage from our main account. So we got 7-star Profundity. So let's see how this one, obviously we can play it a little bit differently because we obviously do get, you know, all the abilities maxed out. So we can actually start off with a basic, give bonus turnover to Outrider. And then we can go ahead get tenacity up. Then let's go ahead and dispel that. And then, I don't know, let's go ahead and dispel there as well, I guess. Okay. But I got back crit damage immunity. Okay, interesting. I'll just keep going. Let's go ahead and dispel again. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I'll just do basic here. What they got for us? So they got Scythe Fighter. This time Outrider got stunned. Alright. So let's go ahead and bring in our fellow Rogue One out. Gets an SD up going. And let's get more download progress here with Outrider. So far, so good. Let's go ahead and clear off the foresight. No crits, unfortunately. Clear off the foresight there. I'm gonna do a basic. Okay, I got shock on Outrider, not ideal, but we got a dispel there, which is nice. Okay. Alright, so we can now bring in our next reinforcement, so let's go ahead and bring in Ghost. So we can again smack them with an AoE. Get some crits in the process. Okay, here we go. They disabled our reinforcements now, which is okay. We already brought our second in. Outrider's taking a bit of a beating here. Let's help him up a bit if we can. There we go, 90%, so let's go ahead and hit it. So this will now give us ultimate. We can go in and win this battle as well. So almost lost Outrider there, but you know, Profundity even before this, it's always been a bit of you know, RNG. I can't say RNG fast, but there was always some RNG involved in terms of who they stun and things like that. So I wouldn't say Rogue One improves the win rate versus Leviathan, but at least we can get by without using Mark 6 Interceptor. So again, it would be my first choice to counter Leviathan, but it's still good to know if you've got nothing else, right? The buff to Leviathan looked like bad news for Profundity, but kind of Rogue One helps you a little bit to offset that. So the question is, the next Rebel ship, what will it bring? Will it really cement Profundity as the top of the food chain when it comes to fleet meta or not? Thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully this video was useful and helpful. Just first going through, you know, what Rogue One brings in certain situations depending on the allied and enemy capital ships. Then some 6-star testing with totally decimated executors on full auto. Leviathan, you have to work hard for it, but even here with 7 stars again, you know, had to work for it. It's not as easy. So, you know, overall, I don't think that's a bad thing that, you know, you have kind of hard counters and then the two ships can kind of counter each other to a degree. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. But until then, have fun, enjoy life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.